Today guys, FC26 is finally here. We have finally got ourselves onto the web app to start building our starter teams. We have now completed every SBC, so I'm going to take you through how to start your account if you haven't done so already, the best way to complete some of these SBCs, also seeing who we can pack along the way, and building that final team for the web app. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, leave the video a like rating, and let me know down below who has been your best pack pull, and if you are trading, how many coins are you on so far? And without further ado, let's go and see how I did everything on the web app. And so here we go on the web app. We are starting personally with the Premier League and WSL. That is because I wanted to see if I could get my hands on any Liverpool cards, and unfortunately, I couldn't. For some reason, EA just decided not to bother and give me a few Chelsea players, a few Spurs players. Wasn't ideal. That player pick there, that is going to be the one where we will end up taking our Rutaro Endo card. Cooper Myers is in there, stuff like that. So there's a few different bits that once we get actually onto the physical game, we can start doing it. Our welcome back packs though, we did get quite lucky. We got 3 75 to 83 rated packs, and then we also got some gold packs and a small mixed players pack, I think it was in the end. Just checking to see that we had full access to the transfer market, and that I did want to see if we had any tradable kits. It's normally the best way to start off your account. Unfortunately this year EA have changed it quite a bit, but we did have obviously the 3 tradable packs. We also had the gold packs to start off with, and one thing I didn't realize on the web app is until you complete the first SBC, flashbang, yeah, you basically can't get onto the game. So I opened up the gold packs, did a few SBCs, sort of literally putting in like 1 bronze here, 1 bronze there, stuff like that. The very basics that you guys will be able to understand quite easily. And so we move straight into those tradable packs. This is the only opportunity to make any coins for us. Going through all of the SBCs, they're all on tradable packs, so you don't make any there. The only other way to make a few extra coins is in terms of objectives. So we're going to do that later on, but obviously I needed to sort of open these packs, build up the club a little bit, get a few gold cards here and there. That's what really will allow us to go into this. Now, personally, I didn't actually start this at 6 PM or 7 PM like everybody else did because I was at the Liverpool game last night. So therefore, I started it around midnight, hoping preview packs would pay out. Unfortunately, they didn't. But we do also have the silver one with obviously Rio and Gamoa. Again, unfortunately, we don't actually end up getting him, but we do get a few 100 coins from it, but unfortunately, not really worth buying. But as I said, I started later, so that's why this is all sort of a bit more pre-recorded, in terms of the fact that it's probably a little bit easier for me to talk over this as well, because it cuts out all the dead rubber parts. There's a lot of parts of the web app where I think I spent 2 hours altogether, and this is about 15 minutes worth of actual content from it. It's a lot of just going backwards and forwards, especially between SBCs. That is the one thing I will say. When you're trying to build SBCs, it is a lot harder in the start because you probably only have about 30 cards altogether. Now, knowing that I'm not going to play a game with this team and I'm going to be able to get onto the game and put FC points on and open packs, I'm not really too bothered. So this was a case of just me using up everything I had. But if you are starting with a brand new account and you're not going to put on FC points and you need some of these cards, it might even be a little bit more trickier to obviously complete some SBCs if you want to keep the likes of that Nuno Tavares that I had. He's actually quite useful in terms of a decent left back. If you don't have any other options, it could be all that you've got. So for me, it was just trying to capitalize on trying to work out what SBCs I had to do. Now, going forward, that using that German centre-back was probably a little bit bad in hindsight, but at the same time, we did get quite lucky in the end to obviously complete. It's the Squad Foundation SBC player, who's the only special player that you can actually get on the web app right now, but still, it's fine. But we did end up completing all the basics, so that obviously gave us a Jimenez to start off with. And then, in our 2 rare gold pack, we get another Jimenez. Somehow, our first duplicate within literally like 10 minutes of playing the game. It's typical from EA. They know what they're doing. But anyway, it was allowing us to obviously get rid of our Aubameyang first. So that was 575 coins made, which you can't see because my face camera's covering it. But it was a good opportunity to start doing that. Again, utilising different cards that we had. So putting that Jimenez into an SBC because we needed a rare gold card, it kind of made sense. It means that I don't have to use anybody from the club. Now, Jordan Henderson, personally, I wanted to keep him because I want to try and pack like first owner Liverpool players, ex-Liverpool players, all that type of stuff. But again, at this point in the game cycle, it is imperative to utilize everything that you are not using, and so therefore he does eventually go into an SBC, and it's again trying to work out, okay, is this gold pack going to give us anything good? Sometimes you do get quite lucky, and I think down the line we end up getting 1,000 coins unlockable from one of them, which is quite usable. It's quite useful. That might be sometimes the only way you actually can guarantee some coins. And so packing that did allow us to probably complete an extra SBC. I think currently right now I'm sat on about 1,500 coins, which again isn't a lot. I haven't traded. I haven't really done anything else like that. I bought probably about 2,000 coins worth of players just to complete these SBCs. But for the team I've ended up with at the end, it's kind of worth it at the same time. It's not it's not going to be like the best team in the world. But for a web app team, there's a few decent pulls in there. There's a few decent little sort of like gem cards. I think that could be quite useful for us. But this is where that Henderson cards get used. I think this was 4 gold cards, but you can only have 2 nations in there. So obviously it does make it a little bit harder to try and work that out. So again, it was either using like 3 players from one nation and 1 player from another, or 2 and 2. Whatever way is the easiest way of doing it. But again, it kind of allowed us to, again, complete another SBC. That's another gold pack. That's another 3 or 4 gold cards into the club. There was a lot of swapping and changing between different SBCs. So then I realised, right, okay, we can now start onto the room to grow and go onto that SBC where you do bronzes in one SBC, then you do silvers in the next, then you do golds. That was a good way to unlock more gold packs for me, to then allow me to get more gold cards, to get more chemistry cards, which therefore meant we complete more SBCs. So the majority of this silver pack then ends up going straight back into the next SBC, which is going to be not this one, because I realised that for a small rare bronze pack, I'd literally had to submit 2 silvers, which is quite useful. So 2 of those silvers that we packed, that goes straight into there. And then obviously that leaves us in this position. As I say, starting the account, I really enjoy this part of the game. I think a lot of people do enjoy it. It's very different this year compared to other years. We used to have so many advanced SBCs that would give us tradable packs, that used to give us even like just like better packs. We never used to have this many gold packs being handed out, whereas like now, that's all we really got to deal with. So for me, it's quite a different grind at the start. It's a lot slower, but again, with that power curve, EA have dropped it down. I kind of like it. If it stays like that all year, or it stays like that for the next 6 months until Team of the Year, that's going to be quite useful for us. So again, not really packing anything here, but packing 4 gold cards in a 5k pack is actually quite useful sometimes. This is where that 1,000 coins came in. And so the final one of Raw Power was basically to submit 6 gold common cards, throw them in. Again, because I've been able to pack a few here and there, that was quite useful. And then, yeah, we don't really get anything too spectacular. But that, again, that Carter card comes in useful in an SBC down the line because she's English and from the NWSL. It utilises her in different ways. So just trying to be aware of who I pack and trying to remember who I pack is quite useful. Lukeba, I know, wanted to keep hold of. But then the Lenzini card, this is where she was quite useful because there was another SBC right at the start for keeping it rare for the intro to Challenges SBCs. I needed to use 2 rare gold cards. Well, I only had Nuno Tavares that I wanted to use. Everything else was tradable, so I discarded all of them to make sure that I didn't submit anything with coins. That sent me up to 2,500 plus the 1,000 coin unlock. I had 3,500 coins. At the start of the game, 3,500 coins is quite a lot, which is quite nice. So we packed a German common card again there, which was brilliant because, again, that's what I said I needed earlier for that German Squad Foundations SBC player. Again, if we needed to, we could have sent this send into it, but I didn't have to. It was all good. So we had 3 SBCs to complete. We had the Club is Your Challenge, which is basically, it's not that difficult to do. It's just a little bit of utilising different players that you have in your club and trying to work out how to build chemistry. Again, looking for different club links, looking for different league links, all of that type of stuff. It was quite useful there. But then, again, Pride of Nation, this is where I needed that German player, which I knew I had. Boom, he goes in. And then I think I also used Kabak in this as well, just because I didn't have any Bundesliga cards at the time. So I didn't really need to utilise any sort of Bundesliga links. So, again, looking at what we have, right, nobody links to him. He's not going to be useful to me in another SBC, so let's just utilise him here. Again, another gold pack. It's not the best thing in the world, but it is something at least as well. And my throat is nearly gone. Because, well, to be honest with you, that's kind of fitting, actually. Liverpool last night. I don't know how we keep doing it, but Liverpool keep pulling it back like the last minute of the games. It's brilliant, and I'm going to have a heart attack one day. So I do apologise that I don't have a voice, because, you know, shouting at a team of 11 men to score a goal for 80 minutes isn't really ideal, but hey ho. So we do get another silver pack here. I can't remember where this one was from. This might have been one of the objective packs. This is where I started to like really sort of look into things. So again, seeing that we also had the FC Pro, this is from watching EA stream. Because I did that for an hour, that unlocked 3 packs. I actually didn't realise how important that was going to be to have, because these 3 packs probably allowed us to complete the 66 World Cup sort of SBC section for the England part. That Turner card, super useful. Nico Gonzalez, super useful. And Dye became super useful as well. To be honest with you, I think all of those gold cards got submitted into an SBC, which is super useful, apart from Belardi, who is just going to sit on my bench, because he's actually an alright card. Until I get somebody better, it's a good option. And then Nori, he was the best card we had packed at this point. It wasn't worth anything, which I was quite surprised by. But again, for a starter left back, he is probably all round pretty good. We got our Eredivisie gold card that we needed. So again, for the Squad Foundations player, you need a minimum 70 rated or higher from the Eredivisie. So again, that was quite useful for me to allow myself to complete that. And then the 25k pack, which I thought could have paid out, unfortunately didn't. We got a few rare gold cards. We did get some nice consumables in terms of anchors and a hunter. Again, down the line, that's quite useful in terms of objectives, because as I'm doing here, I am going to put an anchor on Nori. Firstly, it makes sense because it boosts him up in his defending. 77 defending, 70 physical, but then 84 pace as well. It's quite a nice boost. And as you can see just below my camera, we did do a few objectives with that as well. Trying to keep up with them was a little bit difficult, because obviously there's a few different things going on at once. I wanted to change my club name. Unfortunately, you can't do that on web app, so that meant that we couldn't do that. That was the Eredivisie player that I was just saying that needed to get submitted. A silver pack again. I'm just wanting Engamo out of this, but this German guy again comes in useful down the line, because into the SBC we're about to submit now, we buy a bronze left back, which is our first or second pull, or first or second card that we bought. Using that silver card that we got, plus another silver that we already had, that is for Calm Fake Chemistry, which again is one of the basic SBCs, but that allowed us to complete our first special card of the year. Yes, it's not maybe the best card in the world, as Bazagdan, I think is how you pronounce his name, or Bazadgan, I genuinely can't remember how you pronounce his name, but it's a first special card, and the fact that, you know, on the web app within an hour, you can have an 83 rated Squad Foundation card, which is fairly usable. Whether or not you actually start him in your team or not is another thing. This is where I was saying where the Club is Yours challenge, that 60 rated team. I had a few Fleetwood players, so using players that I just collected from the bronze and silver packs, that was super useful there. We do get Haney Mukhtar, but again, didn't really pay out with anybody else. He now sits on my bench, actually. And so with that, we then go into another SBC. I don't know why my Blue Yeti decided to pop up there, but this one was the somewhat easiest part of the England squad. And the reason I say that is because it was the first one I completed. It gave us a gold pack, which was the worst pack back. That was quite useful for us, though, because that's 12 more gold cards to refresh into the club. As I said, with those rewards that we got from watching the EA live stream, that basically completed that SBC. Then we go again with this next one. So again, quite a lot of cards that we had packed already from this. I don't actually think I had to buy anybody here, which was brilliant. So that is just using everything in my club for a small prime gold pack. Pretty decent pack to have. A small 45k pack is worth about 20-ish K. We did get Fernand Torres, who originally I thought he's going to be staying in my team, but did end up needing to use him in an SBC. Robert Sanchez in there as well, quite useful for us because he ended up going into goal for the final part of Local Heroes. This is where I bought 3 players. It wasn't ideal to do, but I didn't really have a choice. If I wanted to complete this for this mega pack, it was the only option. So the small Electrum pack didn't give us anything, to a point of, well, it didn't even load. So that wasn't ideal. But again, not maybe like the best cards in the world. It's more just to fill up that club. It puts us in a better place. The Mega Pack. This is the best pack we had opened. And we got Camavinga, which I think was pretty decent. I think Camavinga is going to be one of those cards that you can probably utilise for maybe the first 2 or 3 weeks. Overall, stats are very good. 80 pace, 68 shooting, 81 passing. Good defending stats. We've got Danzo in there as well, who is still a fairly usable centre-back right at the start of the game. So again, until we pack somebody decent when we're actually physically on the game, this is a very good option for me. So as I say, quite happy with that pack. That did also allow us to complete another objective, which was the complete market mastery, which was buying a few cards and applying consumables and stuff like that. So that gave us an 82 plus pack. And then on top of that, we'd also done some of the basic ones for a hunter. I think it was like adding chem styles and buying a player, this one was. So we sent the hunter to the club, and then a 78 plus pick. We get a choice between Anthony and we get a choice between Gary. Now, if I had kept Fernan Torres, I would have took Gary. However, Anthony does look fairly usable, has had quite a nice upgrade this year, so does make it into the team for me as well, which we're going to see in a second, because our final pack that we have to open is an 82 plus pack. We get Hannah Hampton. She is my highest rated card, and if you have seen me on Twitter or anything recently, you know I absolutely love Hannah Hampton. So, this is the team we've ended up with. Our first special card is obviously the Bozdogan, which is fine. Camavinga has ended up being our best pack pull in terms of value, probably, and then obviously Hannah Hampton being the highest rated. So, overall, quite lucky. Fella was in our starter squad, and she has stayed all the way through because she does look very usable. But the bench is fairly strong. The team is looking fairly good. Hopefully, that grind has helped you guys out, work out what you need to do. Let me know down below if you've got any questions about how to start your account. We've got plenty of packs to open going forward. And for now, that's where we're going to leave it for today, guys. I'm out. Peace.